Hello everyone, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host as always, Richard Tiemann, and this is the award-winning Fan Show. It's good to be back. Good to see you guys. I know that things have been a little chaotic, to say the very least, when it comes to what's been going on in the realm of Tiemann as of late. But it's okay because it is a new year. It is a new chance, a new opportunity to sort of get back on track. So we've got a new year to get back to a routine. Not a new routine. I mean, a new routine would be nice. I'm not going to lie. I think it would be a lot of fun to be able to kind of mix things up. But we really finished the year as strong as we could last year, given everything that we could do here with OBS and giving you guys more visual stuff and adding sound and video and just things like that. So there was a lot of progress made, and we didn't quite have the best chance to utilize everything and get into a full-on new routine before the big announcement happened, and then my whole world changed for the better. It has been an incredible journey, and you guys are welcome to come along, join me, because we are less than 3 months away from kickoff. In fact, tomorrow will be 2 months to the day until Sioux Falls Storm kick off their season, celebrating their 20th anniversary. Gold Standard is the hashtag that they're using to celebrate 20 years of excellence in the Indoor Football League. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the director of communications. I believe that if you asked a lot of people who have followed the Indoor Football League for a long time, they would probably agree that they are the bar, and they have used that hashtag as well. You know, raise the bar, bar raised. So 2 months in a day for them, and then, of course, a week prior, there will be the official kickoff for the Indoor Football League. So we're right in it, man. We are, I guess, technically less than 2 months now. Wow. Let that sink in. Less than 2 months away from a new Indoor Football League season. And we've got a lot of stuff to catch up on, not just with that, which I think it was great to see so much representation of the Indoor Football League down at the College Gridiron Showcase, which, again, another fantastic event. It really was. There were scouts there from all 32 NFL teams, and then from all 9 CFL teams. I believe there were even some XFL team scouts there as well. But, you know, what was funny is that there was a few less scouts this year than there were last year, but the scouts that were there were more of your decision-making guys. They're kind of where instead of sending out the drones and the worker bees to do all the work and heavy lifting for them, these were the guys that those guys would report to. So that was huge for CGS. Props to Jose Jefferson, Craig Red, Mike Riddleman, all the coaches, just for an outstanding job. It was a great trip to Texas, and although it wasn't really a vacation, it never is, it was still great to be there and to witness all these young, hungry athletes try to do their very best to make it to that next level. So props to them, and props to the staff. Just a really good event. And don't just take my word for it. I mean, I've been uploading the interviews that I did while I was down there. You guys can go and see those at the Fan Shows page. There's a photo album. I tried to catch as much action as I could. I didn't do quite as much at this year's College Gridiron Showcase as I did at last year's, but I also did different things, so it kind of balanced itself out. I co-hosted with Emery Hunt of Football Game Plan the first CGS Media Day, which, you know, you don't know how something is going to go until you do it, and then you don't know what you need to change until you've done it for the first time. So that's kind of what happened with that. I thought it went as well as anything you do for a first time can go. So that was great. And then, of course, there was the CGS event, the skills training, the drills, the skellies, and then the scrimmage at the end. Really some great guys that were there. Brenda Tracy, who has been a sexual assault victim, survivor, however you want to do it, for Set the Expectation. I got a little wristy band here. She gave a powerful talk and message to these young athletes. It was great. It really was, for them to have that kind of perspective. Financial guru Rod Newhouse, former Dallas Cowboy, was there to give them crash course in finance and where their money goes. So again, congratulations to CGS. There were so many players that were there. Every year, Jose wants it to be better than the year before, and this year really was. So it was fantastic to be part of that event. Also, there was a kicking event. I see Ernesto jumping in. Ernesto, it was great to meet you too, brother. Really, kickers need love too, man. And I'm working on a little something for that, and I would love your guys' help. Jordan, Craig, Cody, Ernesto, all you guys, Mike Giorgetti, I would really like your help on something if we can make this work. It's going to take some doing, but I think we can get it done. And hello to John, Devin, Luke, Alika, Brandon. It's good to see you guys. A few comments here. Luke says, "What's up, bro? Congrats to your 49ers. Haven't made the Super Bowl yet, man. We got one more. But I am enjoying the ride, which, yes, it has been a really fun ride. As this kind of a season, with, short of the Super Bowl and a victory, has really been a dream come true, because I'm such a pro defensive guy. Like, defense, those are my boys out there. And back when they had Willis, Bowman, Smith, and all those guys, that was a really fun team to watch that I really feel is an underappreciated squad. But to see Bosa, Witherspoon, Sherman, Tart, you got Armstead and Ford. I mean, these are the new boys on the block, and I love watching them play. Like, can the offense score so that we can get the defense back out there? Because the defense has just been too fun to watch. It really has been. Devin asks, have you gotten any snow there? We did get some snow yesterday, actually over the weekend, and it's since melted away, but it doesn't snow. It flurries, and then it gets really freaking cold with the wind chill. I see Tom and Matt have joined. Hello, guys. Good to see you as well. Feel free to comment on anything that you see on the ticker below. We've got a lot of headlines to get through, and then we've got a special guest coming up for you. He is a good friend of mine from Green Bay, and he's from Charlotte, I guess, technically right now, but going back to Green Bay. Marquel Willis, former receiver, will go back to the Blizzard to coach their wide receiver core. So congrats to him. So I guess without any further ado or any more delay, let's go ahead and get to today's headlines, and let's hit that right about now. Headlines, of course, brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises. They want to customize your world, and you can do that if you hit up Ethan at dynamiteenterprises.com. They have a website, dynamiteenterprises.com, where you can see all the stuff that they have done, that they can do. Their Instagram is a great resource as far as finding out just how far they can go with customizing stuff. So if you need to follow them on Instagram first before you make up your mind, follow them. Dynamite Enterprises on Instagram. They always are posting new stuff. They usually post in bulk all the stuff that they've been doing throughout the week. But me personally, a lot of you guys have shirts of mine. I need to get a new batch out to some of you new fans that don't have shirts yet. But we've done shirts. The tablecloth that you may have seen in the photos from CGS and at other events, that was done by them. I have a big 10-foot backdrop that was done by them. I have some mic flags that are done by them. They can do business cards, trophies, belts, banners, runners, clothing, shoes, probably socks, maybe underwear. I don't know. Whatever you need, they can do. So you just got to go to dynamiteenterprises.com. And we're going to read through some comments here on the old ticker while I go through the headlines. And I see that Luke has rejoined us. And Luke, is Danja bummed about what? About the cold weather and the snow? Look, let me just tell it to you like this, okay? It's one of those things where you take the opportunities where you get them. It was crazy to me that while I was at CGS, I was working remotely for the Storm from Texas while doing stuff for CGS in Texas. And that's not how it was a year ago. A year ago, I had gotten a kind of a job offer from another member of the IFL while I was there, but I was working part-time at Sportsman's Warehouse. So really, I mean, is she bummed? Maybe, because it's not like, weather-wise or whatever, but I think she's happy to be where we're happy, And he says, oh no, the Seahawks. She had her turn back in 2013. I think it's my turn, right? It's a nice trade-off, isn't it? So sorry I went kind of off on a different track there, Luke. That's what I thought you meant. But no, Sioux Falls has been good to us. It really has. It's been hard, but not job-wise. I mean, my job is complex, what I do, and my days are filled. But it's been hard in other areas. We've had a laundry list of problems here, from not getting our mail to plumbing issues, toilet paper coming up through the bathtub drain. Just, oh man, it's been a rough time, and those are just a few things. But we still don't have a couch or TV. I have like a makeshift desk here in the room that is kind of the makeshift studio, but we're getting by. We're good. So, hey, Jason, good to see you as well. Jason and I are sworn enemies for the next week because he's a Packers fan, and I'm upset that he did not own up to the agreement about wearing Packers or 49ers gear to the F.A.N. breakfast the following Saturday, the last time that they got together. Luke says, very proud of you, though, making some big steps. It's something where when do you stop and be proud of yourself when you're not done yet? I like to think I'm not done with my journey just yet. There's still a lot to do. I got a lot of things on my mind that I'd like to accomplish, and that I can accomplish while I'm with the Storm. But this is not the last stop for me, but it is a great stop right now. It really is. I'm very much looking forward to the season and what this 2020 will hold for us. A lot of expectations from a lot of people on the year 2020. So let's go down the line here. We had the divisional round of playoffs. 49ers over the Vikings. Titans over the Ravens. How crazy is that? The Tennessee Titans, led by quarterback Ryan Tannehill, which really they're led by Derrick Henry. I mean, let's not church it up. Ryan Tannehill has been exactly what Ryan Tannehill could have been for the Dolphins. He could have been this for you, Dolphins. And same with Kenyon Drake. Really, pretty much any combination of quarterback and running back that you've had over the last, 5 years could have been this for the Dolphins. But I don't know what they're doing down there in Miami. It's not progress. But I mean, I said they could probably beat the Patriots. I really did believe that they could do that. I said, watch them upset Brady and the Patriots in New England this first round. Then they did. I didn't think they had a snowball's chance in hell to go up against the Ravens because the Ravens have been that team, right? I thought the Final Four was going to be Ravens, Chiefs, 49ers, Seahawks. I really did. I wasn't confident in picking Seattle, and I guess I didn't technically pick them. I just said that would be like what I feel the ideal Final Four would be. If the NFL really is rigging this, would be Chiefs, Ravens, Mahomes, and Jackson. And then, of course, you have Seattle and San Francisco, who have been two of the 5 best games in the NFL this last season. There are 5 games that are the best games of 2019. 49ers were in 4 of them. Just want to make that point. So that's what I thought. But I wasn't confident and thinking that Seattle really could go into Green Bay and get it done. Look, whether or not Jimmy Graham was short, this is just like the game against San Francisco a few weeks before that. People are so set on the last play of a game why did Pete Carroll punt with under 3 minutes to go? Why did they go for it on 4th down against San Francisco instead of kicking a field goal? I mean, these are the things that you got to think of second and third quarter that may not be the last play of the game, but they can make it so that you don't have to worry about the last play of the game. And maybe I'm alone in that thinking, but that's just what I thought. Luke says, yeah, don't have to be proud. That is what we're here for. We can cheer you on. Matt says, I'm not betting you for this Sunday because don't count your team out, Matt. Look, this is going to be a really good game, and I think it's very true what a lot of people have said, including Coach Shanahan himself, because one of the reporters was dumb enough to ask, once you've had your way with a team, how do you approach your locker room and hope that they don't look past them and get comfortable? And Shanahan was like, you say, don't be that stupid. You don't. Like, that is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in a press conference. And I've heard some really dumb things in press conferences. But seriously, no two games are alike. In fact, he recalled when he was with the Falcons, them getting blown out by Carolina and then being their only loss, that big 15-1 run when they went to the Super Bowl against Denver. They were the one in 15-1 that year, like 3 weeks later. So look, no two games are ever the same. Thankfully, Seattle, San Francisco were two very similar games, came down to the final seconds, but you cannot blow out a team and expect it to be that same way however many weeks later. If we're talking week 1 to week 17, or if we're talking week 11 to week 12, you can't put that expectation out there that that's going to be how it is, because that's how it was one time. So Shanahan's 100% right. I hope they're not that stupid. I hope they're not too. Luke says, dude, Henry is a beast. He really is. Jason says, go Pack go. I didn't even make it. He was sick that day. Yeah, but you were at the next one, Jason. You were at the next one. I saw the photos. Dan Chase rats you out every time with those photos. Devin says, but then how could we have a State Farm Super Bowl? God, I hope it's not. I really hope it's not a Chiefs Packers, which, can I just clarify one thing about that? People are like, how fitting would it be if the NFL's 100th season Super Bowl is a rematch between the Chiefs and the Packers from Super Bowl 1. Yeah, Super Bowl 1 was 53 years ago. Okay, this is Super Bowl 54, so that really doesn't make any sense at all. Like, it just, if this really was the 100th season and there had been 100 Super Bowls, yeah, I could see it, but that theory just bugs me. It does. It's just like, well, it really would be. And even then, like, how many people remember that Super Bowl? Like, I think only Chiefs and Packers fans are ones that recall, that the first Super Bowl. Probably more than that because it was the first one, right? But I mean, are Chiefs fans still holding a grudge all this time? 53 Super Bowls later? I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. Luke said his dad went to Super Bowl 1. And Adam, Le Champion, is here in the comments. Good to see you guys. So a couple of non-football things I wanted to address here was, obviously, there was the big news about the Houston Astros. Their GM and their manager were suspended for a year for cheating and then fired shortly after. And I got to say, this fair punishment, because a lot of NFL teams and their staff should be thanking their lucky stars that the NFL is not the MLB, because who knows what would have happened to the Patriots, Tom Brady, Sean Payton, who did get suspended for a year, but he came back. But a year is a long time in baseball. I mean, a long time. Now, I feel, though, that I'm in the minority here as far as the punishment, people thinking that their title should be stripped, which I understand. First and foremost, I fully understand why people would feel that. You cheated your way to the highest victory in your respective sport, which is a championship, right? But I don't think people are thinking any more beyond just taking the title from them. Then what do? Do you give it to the runner-up, like some kind of consolation prize? I reminded of the time that the 72 Dolphins went and visited Barack Obama at the White House, because when they went perfect in 72, that wasn't a thing yet for the champions to go and visit the president at the White House. So he did that. Now, it was a great moment, and it was years later, but do you think it would have meant more to them if they would have gotten to go the year that they went undefeated? So I just feel like if you award it to whoever it was that they beat for that championship, and I apologize, I don't know offhand because I'm not... I don't follow baseball that closely, but like, they're going to feel so just cheap about the way that they got that. It's not going to feel earned because there was still games played, which they lost. and then a champion was crowned, whether the other team cheated or not. And even then, like, are you going to just blank out that whole page in history? And if you do, are you going to ask for the payment of every player that season to be paid back to the Major League Baseball? I don't see how stripping a title, whether it's for this reason or when they did it to Penn State for all the controversy there, or when they strip medals from athletes for using steroids. It's just like, I understand the outrage and why you feel that's necessary and needed. But at the same time, like, okay, so then what do you do? Is that page in history just blank at that point? Or do you give it to the next person however many years later this is found out, and now they get to have their moment for whatever it's worth, you know, at that time? It just, to me, it seems like it's a no-win situation, obviously, but I do not believe in stripping titles, because it's just, there's too much down that rabbit hole as far as what do you do after that. And let's see your guys' comments here. Matt says, not like the NFL counts anything pre-Super Bowl. They do not. They very much do not count anything pre-Super Bowl. Adam says, not much, Luke. Stopped at Walmart, got some Baby Shark cereal. Adam also says, death penalty to the Astros. And then he says, you just make that championship vacant. That bugs me, though. That really does bug me, because it's like, there was baseball played that year. And you have how many teams in the MLB, and they play 100 some odd games in a season? You're just going to take that away from everybody? I don't know. It's really tough, because I'm not an avid baseball fan or follower, but I'm thinking in terms of NFL. Okay, we find out the Patriots, easy example, but obviously I'm not trying to take shots. It's just the easy example right now. The Patriots cheated like the Astros did. They had won a Super Bowl. So now you're going to vacate that championship, and it was the one over the Rams, okay? So the Rams still didn't win a Super Bowl, and now no one won that Super Bowl. And that year now is as if, well, playing 16 games and putting your bodies through 16 games of 60 minutes each was for nothing. Tough pill to swallow if I'm an athlete. Just saying. Let's see here. Adam also says the NCAA did it to USC in 2005. Yeah, and I don't agree with that either. John says they took Reggie Bush's Heisman. I don't know if I agree with that one either. I think the individual awards, even gold medals, which I did mention earlier, is kind of a different beast than a champion at the end of a season as a whole. But I feel like taking away a championship from somebody and leaving that championship blank is a slap in the face to literally every team in that league that played that season and every player that played for those teams in that season. So, like I said, it's a no-win situation. I don't believe that stripping a title is the right solution. Let's see. Adam says they tried to take the Patriots titles. Belichick will execute the Order 66. Yeah. Let's see here. The Oscar nominees were announced. Avengers Endgame, the box office beast that smashed records left and right, was nominated for 2 awards, none of which were Best Director, Best Picture, Best Actor, none of it. And I was watching it last night because I was just curious. I was like, did I miss something? No, they missed something. Probably the biggest snub ever. Congratulations to Jimmy Johnson and Bill Cowher for their selection to the 2020 Class Hall of Fame for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The way that they did that, I love it. I don't think that's ever been done before, the way that they surprised them live and on set. But man, right in the feels. That was great. Antonio Gates retires after 16 seasons, all with the Chargers, but not all in San Diego, somewhere in LA. And then the XFL announced its rules, which its overtime rules I'm really digging. I saw a video about kickoff and I didn't fully comprehend what they were doing, but I think their overtime rules are on point, something that the NFL should look at. Maybe they will. So those are some of the things that have happened while I was away. And now that we're back, obviously we are 1 weekend away from knowing who will play in Super Bowl 54 to cap off the NFL's 100th season. I am nervous. I'm excited. I'm exhausted. It's been a great season. You know, if the 49ers lose this weekend, I'll be a little upset because, you know, you get so close. And yeah, there's 3 other teams that are trying to get to that same promised land. And if any of them lose, it'd be the same thing. They got so close. But man, like, there's something special about this team in my mind. I would love to see them win. I really would. So that's my feelings on it. I don't know where I'll watch the game. No bets, though. I'm tired of doing bets. I make bets with people, and every time I lose, I own up like that. I wore a Seahawks beanie because of Lane Krupinski, and I wore it the whole damn episode after the Niners had won that week, too, because I couldn't do it right after the game that they played the Seahawks and lost. I had to do it after they won, and I had been gone for a couple weeks. We had done the move. It was the first episode I did in Sioux Falls. I wore it. I owned up to the bet because if I'm going to bet something, I'm going to own up to it. But then, if I bet things and other people lose, they never own up to it. And it's irritating. It really is. I don't think anybody has owned up to a bet with me when they've lost. I'm always the one that ends up wearing the jersey or the beanie or getting up in front of bars and saying how awesome their team is and not mine. Like, look, if you bet me and I'll lose, I'm going to do whatever it is that you bet me. But if you lose, I'm not going to hold my breath. Sorry, not sorry. It's the truth. Hello, Mike Tatum. Good to see you here, sir. So yeah, LSU. They are your NCAA champions of the college football world. And if you picked Clemson, I get it, but I didn't think anybody was going to beat LSU. There's just LSU is too much this season. They really were. So congratulations to Joe Burrow and company. I didn't really watch the game because I don't have a horse in that race. I'm sure it's good football, but sometimes you get to this portion of the calendar year and there's just so much football. You kind of like need to pace yourself. I need my energy and my focus to be on my team playing this weekend in the NFC Championship game, which we will talk more about obviously on Thursday's episode. We should be back to our regularly scheduled fan show programming here, which I am very excited for. So we've got Marquel Willis coming up here in a little bit. So I did want to go ahead and see if you guys have any more comments, questions, answers, concerns, thoughts. Mike Tatum, I saw that you have your annual flag football tournament coming up in Columbus, Ohio. Good luck with that, sir. LSU could beat the Bengals, says Matt. I believe it. They could probably even beat the Browns if the Browns don't beat themselves. So the Bengals are probably going to win the Joe Burrow lottery. But I guess he's happy about that prospect because he's from Ohio. So I guess if you get to go play in your home state, shoot, do it. Let's see. Was there anything else that I needed to cover? Oh, yes. In music news, Neil Peart passed away. Now, I wasn't a huge Neil Peart fan or even a Rush fan. As a former drummer, though, you know Neil Peart. You respect the hell out of Neil Peart because the man was an innovator, and that's putting it lightly. The dude had chops. I don't think music will ever be the same because of him, and I don't think we will ever see another drummer like him. It's just, he was just that guy. He was too innovative. There's a handful of drummers and musicians as a whole that were just, they were too good to try and be replicated. I think Travis Barker is one. I'm a huge Travis Barker fan, and just seeing what he's been able to do for the world of rock, punk rock, hip hop, jazz. I mean, it's incredible. But Neil Peart was that guy, man. Him and Buddy Rich. Those were, when you think of drummers, those are the two names that immediately come to mind. Buddy Rich, Neil Peart. So I'm very sad for Rush fans. I'm sure that Matt, who does his Fat Bearded Vinyl Guy blog, that was a very sad moment for him. Matt, I feel your pain, dude. I would love to hear your list, or I guess see your list of the top 5 best Neil Peart drum parts for Rush songs. if there is such a thing that you can do, or just your top 5 Rush songs of all time. So there's a project for you. Hendrix, he says, yeah, Hendrix was another musician. Dave Grohl is somebody who can do it all, and he's the ultimate rock star. There's a handful of guys that are the ultimate rock star, and Dave Grohl is one of them. If he's number one, maybe, but man, that dude is he is rock and roll. He is one of the last living, breathing rock stars out there. I'm going to knock on wood, because if we lose Dave Grohl, I will cry. I will cry like a little girl, because that man is awesome. Devin White says their passing game coordinator is already going to Carolina as the OC. Good on them. He also says, do you think Belichick will leave New England? I saw something yesterday that says Brady had signed a 2-year extension with New England. Color me shocked, man. Like, I did not see that coming. As long as Brady's in New England, Belichick's in New England. Look, I think Brady will leave before Belichick does. And a lot of people, for some reason, thought that Brady was going to go to the Chargers and take McDaniels with him. But no, I think if we're talking about who's going to budge first, I think Brady leaves before Belichick does. I mean, to me, replacing Brady is easier than replacing Belichick. And I know that Robert Kraft will move mountains to keep Belichick. Let's see here. Devin also says, certainly not another drum kit like his. Nope. Matt is a big Rush fan. I figured you were, Matt. Again, very sorry for the loss of the music world. So the Oscar nominees are out. There were the Golden Globes. Joker took home a lot of awards, including Joaquin Phoenix. But how does Robert Downey Jr. not even get nominated? How does Endgame not even get nominated? I mean, look, I get Scorsese took shots at comic book movies and whatever. Like, he's Scorsese. He can do whatever the hell he wants. But when it comes to entertainment and what movies are, I mean, I didn't think that Avatar was worthy of the Best Motion Picture Award, and it didn't. It lost to The Hurt Locker, which I watched both. I thought Hurt Locker was a lot better movie as far as storytelling and the acting. I mean, the acting in Avatar was awful. It was god-awful. So I get why it didn't win, but it was still nominated. Endgame wasn't even nominated, man. Like, come on. Lord of the Rings, they cleaned house when they did The Return of the King. I don't know. I lost all faith in the Oscars and the Academy. I've been losing faith in them, but I said, hey, 10 years of Marvel Cinematic Universe, come on, let this be the big payoff, and then it wasn't. So anyway, that is that. Devin says, ready for Adam Sandler to make a bad movie. Matt says Avatar was eye candy. 100% agree. It was Pocahontas with 3D. That's all it was. And I'm sorry, if there's any big Avatar fans out there, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you say that was like your top 3 favorite movie. I don't. That's crazy. Outdoors, it is ice fishing season if you're an outdoorsy person. And there is Ice Fish Fest here in Sioux Falls coming up on January 25th. Should be a lot of fun. I'll be there. Gonna try my hand at ice fishing. Robotics, there's a lot of stuff happening with BattleBots competitors. No official announcement yet for the next season, so stay tuned for that. There will be, however, Lego Builders is a new series coming in February to Fox. I cannot wait. Oh my god, I'm gonna rush home to make sure that I catch every minute of brand new episodes hosted by Will Arnett. I can't wait. Other than that, so we got music, pop culture, sports, robotics, outdoors, wrestling. There's been a lot of wrestling stuff going on. Too much that I haven't been able to keep up with it really, but All Elite Wrestling still crushing it. NXT is doing pretty good, and WWE is grasping for straws, man. That's what WWE does. I guess our Truth segment, though, last night with Brock Lesnar was really awesome, so I'll probably have to go and watch that. But anyway, that will do it for the headlines and getting you guys all caught up. Of course, Headlines Thursday will probably be a much quicker segment. But anyway, we are at that time where I need to go ahead and kick it over here to our interview and our special guest, which is Marquel Willis of the Green Bay Blizzard, formerly a wide receiver, and he's coming back as a wide receivers coach. So here's my conversation with my good friend. Enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now as the first official guest of the year 2020. He's one of my favorites, and he's returning to Green Bay in an all-new capacity. Give it up for Marquel Willis. Marquel, welcome, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Rich?
I'm doing great. It's a bit colder here than I would prefer. I know that Spokane and Sioux Falls seem very similar, but there is this wind chill factor in the Midwest that I personally was not prepared for. I feel like I wasn't properly briefed. And you played in Green Bay, and I know the season started kind of at the end of stuff, but that didn't mean that winter still couldn't hit you. Like, how did you deal with the weather playing in Green Bay?
A lot of staying inside and a lot of layers when I was outside. So, fortunately, one of the benefits of playing indoor football is you're playing inside. So,
yeah, it's interesting. You look at the league and how it's made up. You have teams up here in the Midwest, Sioux Falls, Quad City, Green Bay, even, Des Moines, Iowa can get some pretty harsh winter. And then you have like the polar opposites now. Arizona, Tucson, San Diego, and then this year Oakland. And this is a sport where its fans and players are protected by the indoor because you play in the arena. So it is very much a saving grace.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about like traveling and having to worry about the elements outside, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So you're going to come back in an official capacity to the Green Bay Blizzard as a wide receivers coach. How did that whole conversation come about, and how do you feel your role with the team will impact, players that were young and hungry just like you were?
The conversation came about, it actually started a couple years ago. I went up to watch a game, and just kind of mentioned to Coach Roberson that I, was interested in coaching at that level. So we had some talks after that. Didn't work out that first year. He reached back out to me right after the season was over with last year. Told me they were still interested in having me come back up and help. And we made it work. So really excited for the opportunity. Obviously, I don't have that itch to play anymore, which is good. I think it'd be difficult to go back up there and coach and watch some of those guys play. But I'm excited, man. They have a good group of young, talented receivers. I've been watching. I've been keeping up with them. These guys can play. And hopefully, just me helping give a little knowledge to them, extra little tips and things that they can look for while they're playing. Will help elevate their games a little bit and get them moved on, which is what the ultimate goal is. And if they're not while they're still there, hopefully helping them win a championship and bring one back to Green Bay. So,
yeah, it's interesting to look at how much the Blizzard has changed over the last couple of seasons because when you were there, the offense was great. It was the defense that needed some work. I mean, you had you and then, of course, Jack Bramswig, two of the best receivers in the league. Any team would have been happy to have you guys. And so putting up points was never a problem. It was stopping the other team from putting up the points. And now you fast forward to this last season and what looks to be this upcoming season. They were able to get back pretty much their entire secondary, and they've got some great defensive linemen that are going to return as well. Quarterback is a question mark at the moment, but Coach Roberson says that he's got his eye on a couple of guys that he feels could really fill that spot that Footman did such a great job with last year. I mean, is that how you see this team, or is that just me kind of being from a third party outside looking in over the last couple of years and then going into this season?
No, I think that's a pretty fair assessment, Coach Roberson has always done a great job. He's a defensive-minded guy. Glad he's finally got his opportunity to lead the team. It's definitely well-deserved. But he's gonna be defensive-minded, and that's where we're gonna, hopefully, the offense can catch up to the acceleration or to the level that he's got that defense to. I think they started taking those strides at the end of the year last year. Um, Footman started getting comfortable. I think everybody started getting comfortable with each other. So now it's going to be kind of taking those steps, whether it's Footman at quarterback or not, trying to take those steps and getting started a little bit earlier, giving ourselves a chance to really compete this year. So.
When you see receivers playing from any level trying to get to the next, whether it's from high school to college, college to pro, IFL to CFL, NFL, XFL, and they're hungry athletes, like they definitely want it, but what is the biggest obstacle that they have to get over in order to get to that next level?
Unfortunately, I think a lot of the game is who you know, not what you can do or what you know. And so I think a big thing is just getting those contacts, getting out and getting seen, being in front of scouts, being in front of people that have an opportunity to get you workouts, scholarships, whatever the case may be. I think that with social media now, there's a lot more opportunity for that. Mm-hmm. And especially with, I think the IFL had a great idea, jumping on YouTube and having those games that everybody can watch. I think that is a huge help because you can literally just take that link, send it to a coach, and go forward. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. But I think a lot of it is just being seen. And obviously continuing to grow and showing that you have potential to continue to grow. I think that's the biggest thing. So,
yeah, I'll agree with you on that. There's always potential there, and I do hate the "it's not what you know, who you know" thing because I've done a great job, at least in my personal opinion, of building a network for myself, and I feel like it started to pay off with this job with the Storm. But I also feel like I've been, qualified for several jobs that have been at least talked about or mentioned. So this, I respect the struggle and acknowledge it, and I know that it's two very different worlds, what I do and then you guys as players, but I would like to see talent rewarded above, networking skills, and I think that you guys in the IFL are going to be given that chance to really help with both, with one, the AFL folding and now the IFL kind of being the Premier League, but two, just the amount of growth that the league has shown and how strong this league has looked and now continues to look. Was that kind of part of what you wanted to come back for, was just seeing how well the league has done and wanting to be a part of that in any way that you could, or was there something a bit more, a deeper incentive for you?
Ultimately, football is something I have a passion for, and I want to coach, and that's kind of my love. That's my passion. I enjoy helping other people reach their goals and getting to where they want to be at. So in a small way, yes, that was definitely a part of it. But I definitely think a deeper, look into it, being back in Green Bay, having an opportunity to go back and help them get back to where they were when I first got there. I think that's one of the goals I had before I left was to get them there, and I didn't. So now to be able to come back as a coach and to try to help get the program back to where I think it should be in the league, I think that was a little bit more of what I was looking at. But there's no doubt about it. Like my goal is to help these guys reach their goals, which is either win a championship or B move on to the next level. So
that's fair. And, I remember you mentioning that you don't feel like you had that itch to play anymore. There's a lot of guys I know that do. They step away, they feel like it's the right time, and then they go a year, even like 6 months without, and they're like ready to come back. And then if they don't, it's almost like that second year off is even worse. And I always tell guys that, when they talk to me about retiring or stepping away, I'm just like, make sure that that this is the right decision for you and your body, and that you're not going to want to come back or regret walking away when you did. What was the biggest challenge for you to get over that itch? I mean, was it a moment? Was it a series of moments? Like, what did it ultimately take for you to be like, I made the right decision, and I'm ready to pass along knowledge instead of go out there and perform?
Honestly, man, it was that first year. As soon as I got back, I got into coaching at the high school level at high school here in Charlotte. And we actually ended up winning the Division II state championship that year in the private sector. So just getting to see those kids, man, like getting to help those kids, seeing how happy they were throughout the year, coaching and doing some stuff, and kind of seeing it click for certain kids that I wasn't necessarily clicking for at the beginning of the year. It was it's a different kind of feeling. As a player, you can work and you kind of see the benefit and the rewards slowly. With these kids, it's literally like they flip a switch and it clicks for them. And to see that and to see them get excited about it, I kind of, when I saw that happening on a more normal basis, it kind of clicked. It was like, this is what I should be doing right now. This is where I'm supposed to be at, and I was okay with it. I went out and played flag football a couple times, 2 or 3 games. I'm dead and body's hurting, and I'm like, yeah, if I had to do this for a whole week and then come back the next week and do it again, I don't know that I could do it. So I was okay with it.
Well, I mean, obviously, because you coach in Carolina, right? A 7-on-7 team,
right?
What's that been like for you?
Man, that's been awesome, man. We're going on year 3 right now as Carolina Stars. We've seen a lot of success, a lot of growth. And we've had some players move on to do some pretty impressive things. Sam Howell this year at UNC did a great job leading the team there, and we've got some guys coming out in the next couple of years that'll be impressive too. But just being able to help these kids out, man. These are kids that we don't necessarily see in the high school season. To be able to kind of get them a little extra knowledge and a little extra coaching that they might not get at their high schools, or even that they do get, we just give them a different way of looking at things. I think that opportunity to do that and travel with them and compete against some of the best high school kids and talent in the nation has been fun. You get to see a lot of guys from all over the place. Like we played against Justin Fields. We played against, top tier wide receivers and DBs all over the nation last year. And so we're finally getting caught up and kind of starting to get our name and our brand kind of implemented on that 7-on-7 team, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been fun, man. It's we're growing as a program, and I think the kids are starting to buy into it. So it'll be interesting to see how much that thing grows.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, best of luck doing your Carolina Stars coaching gig, and then, of course, this new gig with Green Bay. I know I'll be happy to have you back in the Indoor Football League to some capacity, and I'm sure the people of Green Bay are going to be stoked to have you, passing along that skill and knowledge to the young guys that are going to hopefully make a splash for the Blizzard. But, of course, all fun times there and fun times in the NFL as we are down to the final 4 teams: Kansas City, Tennessee, Green Bay, and San Francisco. You got your picks for the Super Bowl yet?
Oh, man, it's tough, man. Like, it's tough. Like, you look at the AFC and that thing, everybody's looking at Kansas City right now.
Of course.
But Tennessee is not a slouch.
No.
You got Derrick Henry in the backfield running the ball, and it's like, yeah, Ryan Tannehill's a quarterback, but that running back they got out there is impressive, man. Like, he can do a lot of damage, and their defense is solid. It's not like they're going out there and laying eggs and they're just scoring a lot of points. So, but looking at Kansas City, they showed last week, anybody, if they can get it rolling and they start going, you're hot and you're going, and there's nothing you can really do about it, is Kansas City. So I don't know. Out of the AFC, I'd have to say Kansas City. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee snuck in there. The NFC is I think right now everybody's eyes are on the 49ers defense. But again, you got the man Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback on the other side, and you can't really you can't count him out by any means. So I think that'll be the one that I have to see it, and I can't pick from the NFC, man, just because it's tough, man. Like, you got a great defense against a great offense, or a great offensive minded quarterback, and honestly not a bad, like, they have a really solid defense. Their defense has come a long way. So I think if it's a low scoring game, I think the Packers pull it out. I think if it starts getting, in that higher scoring range, I think the Niners run away with it just from a defensive standpoint. So,
well, I appreciate your insight, man. It's going to be a fun weekend, and enjoy the time you've got left in Carolina before you make the trek up north here to freeze. Hopefully not to death, but I appreciate you taking the time, man. He is Marquel Willis, former wide receiver for the Green Bay Blizzard, and now he's going to be teaching up those young, slick wide receiving studs of that same Green Bay Blizzard team. I appreciate you, man. You take care of yourself.
I appreciate you having me on.
And one more big thank you to Marquel Willis for taking the time to be on the Fan Show, our first episode of 2020. Big year, big expectations, but really at the end of the day, what more can you do than just sort of roll with the punches, take it a day at a time, because as high as your expectations may be for a year, there are still going to be those low moments, and you just got to get through them. You really do. It's a tough thing out there sometimes, what life throws at you. Back in Spokane, a comic who I didn't know well, I knew of him, Tony Russell, passed away suddenly. Passed away, I believe he took his own life. So depression's a very real thing. I have seasonal depression, I believe. I went to the doctor last year and was officially diagnosed with it. So look, you're not alone out there. If anybody needs an ear, needs a friend, reach out. Me, anybody, doesn't matter. But, keep your head up, keep your expectations, at a level that you can handle, but don't be afraid to reach for the stars. 2020 is a new year, a new opportunity, a new chance to do things you've never done, maybe do things differently, maybe do things right. So I'm with you guys as we head into a new year, and I'm stoked for what the possibilities are. So remember, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners. We will be back here, same time, same place on Thursday. There's a new episode of Eye of the Storm tomorrow night if you're a Storm fan, even if you're not, still a great listen. And we will have our NFC AFC Championship weekend preview as we have the Titans and the Chiefs and the Packers and the 49ers, who will make it on to Super Bowl 54 to culminate the NFL's 100th season. We will find out this weekend. That episode will be Thursday, our preview episode. So remember, it's not official unless it's Fan Show official, and we are officially out of here. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.